Hey, what's up there, disc golfers? Hopefully you're staying warm, but if you're stuck inside, got a cool little interview for you here from Ziggy. Enjoy. Hey there, disc golfers. We've got another awesome interview for you, and we're going to just jump right into it. Of course, I've got Wes with me. How's it going, Wes?
Going good. We are out of the polar vortex, which is super exciting here in Michigan, and for you too, Pat. And we have our friend Ziggy joining us today, and we're going to jump right into it. So aside from Bob Julio's last name, looking at the Team Discraft roster, I think you probably have the next hardest name to pronounce. So why don't you go ahead and tell us how you actually pronounce it beginning of the season here so we get it right for the rest of the year.
No, yeah, I've definitely gotten squints my whole life on my last name. You know, first day of school, if I see the teacher struggling, I'm like, that's me. And but so there's two ways essentially to say it. There's the German version, which requires rolling an R, which not everyone can do. And then there's the American version. So the American version is simple. It's just Bierekoven, you know, just like Barry and then Koven.
Okay.
And then, but if you want to be fancy and feel like it, you can say it the German way, which is Bierekoven.
So say it, Wes. Just say it, Wes.
Bierekoven.
It's spelled like
Bierekoven.
Bierekoven.
Everybody at home's gonna be trying that now.
Come on, everybody with us now. Everybody at home. Bierekoven.
Bierekoven.
That was good. That was good.
I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. What can I say?
I'll hire you. I'll hire you. You can be my name pronouncer.
I just follow you around with the megaphone. Bierekoven on the tee. Bierekoven.
This year, when I was on tour for the first half, I was really impressed with all the announcers because they were like, "How do you say your name?" I was like, "Well, you know, do you want this, you know, the simple or the difficult version?" And they got the hard version every time, and I had a lot of good first tee shots because I was just, you know, I was happy to hear my name pronounced correctly for once. You know?
That's perfect. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from? Obviously, you're from Michigan, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I'm from the Detroit area. Troy, Royal Oak, Bloomfield, for those of the viewers who know the area well, but if you're just, you know, from another state, Detroit. Yeah, and it's cold here. Like Wes said, we just got out of a polar vortex, you know, like a foot of snow or some amount of snow, and then -40 for 2 days in a row.
Rough.
Yeah, I was in California while it was somewhat you know, normal here. And I think the first day of the vortex, when it was like -10 or when it was just starting, was the day I got back. And the day I left, it was 75 degrees.
Oh,
and I got off the plane at 6 in the morning, and it was -10. And I'm walking down the runway, and I was just like, nope, I'm going back to wherever this plane's going, because your body does not like a -80 degree difference in temperature.
No, it does not. Okay, I'll move on to our next question. When did you start playing disc golf?
So I, like the nerd that I am, know the specific date. It is June 20th, 2003. It is the day after my 11th birthday.
Nice.
Comes with a little side story. Was I went to the park the day before my birthday and saw this guy throwing frisbees around. And I was like, you know, I'm not shy, so I was just like, "What are you doing, man? Like, what? This looks kind of weird." And he's like, "Oh, it's disc golf." And I'm like, "Oh, can I try?" You know. He let me throw it around, and like most people, I realized it was A, more fun than you thought, and B, much more difficult than you thought. And so I went home. And I was like, "Mom, you know, I want a disc golf set for my birthday." And she's like, "What's disc golf?" And I'm like, "I don't really know. I just saw it at the park." And she's like, well, where do I get it from? And I'm like, again, you know, you're the mom here. I don't know. And
so
you know, my mom, being the, you know, the amazing mother that she is, went and found, you know, a starter pack from Dunham's, I believe, and got it for my birthday, and you know, went playing the next day and never stopped.
Nice.
How long after this moment was it until you started getting that drive to begin competing?
Well, I actually played my first tournament like about a month after I started playing.
Wow.
It was a junior tournament with 3 of us, and I took second, and I was pretty happy about that. And then a month after that, I played my second junior tournament, and there was 2 of us, and I won. And that pretty much like got me hooked onto the like competition and winning, and downward spiral ever since. No.
So were those junior tournaments also in Michigan?
Yeah, they were. One was the Gail Vaughn Memorial, which Gail Vaughn was a very prominent figure in disc golf, a very kind, giving man, and he unfortunately passed away of cancer many years ago. And they have a tournament every year in his honor, and that was it. And that's at Stony Creek and Riverbends traditionally. These days, I'm not sure. And then the second one was the Addison Oaks Open.
Nice. So as a long-time Michigan disc golfer, what would you say is your favorite part about Michigan disc golf?
My favorite part is, I would say, there's a couple things. I really like the camaraderie we have in Michigan. You know, we have a strong community. You know, we may not always, you know, get along with the guy on the course or whatever, but we always seem to have each other's back. You know, like if we need something, we're there, and that's what's most important. And I also really enjoy the competition. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure everyone says this about their state, but people in Michigan are really good. We're really good, and it pushes you to be like even better. You know, and players in the state is like, you know, once one person reaches a level, then the next 3 work hard to jump, and then, you know, we're always leapfrogging, and the competition is really breeding great play.
Yeah.
And that's what I really enjoy. And we don't. Michigan is kind of. I mean, if you look at a map, Michigan is like, it's on the way nowhere, right? It's not on the way anywhere. It, like, unless you're going to Canada, and it's also not close to a whole lot. You know, it's kind of far to get anywhere from Michigan. So because of that, Michigan players don't get out as much, and outside players don't visit Michigan as much, just because of the geographical, not secluded, but, you know, it's a little,
time it takes.
Yeah, it's not a convenient trip to go to and fro.
Yeah.
Wes, what do you say we give something away?
Let's do it.
I have a disc here that I would like to give away, but what I'd like you guys to do first is let's get 100 likes on the video. We can snag 100 likes on this one, which I know you guys can do. It's pretty easy. We do it almost all of our videos. I have a Z-Flex Heat. These things are awesome in the wintertime. The Z-Flex is nice. A little bit less stable. Put it in place of what your Undertaker is, just for the wintertime. If you haven't tried it, you want to give it a try.
The Z-Flex plastic is polar vortex resistant.
There we go.
The heat
So,
quality. What
you do, we're going to get those likes. Why don't you comment down below for me and tell me what your coldest round that you have ever played is. Let me know about the temperature. Was it in a tournament? Was it with some buddies? Were you just underdressed? I mean, it could still be like 10 degrees and you go out there in a shirt and t-shirt and still be cold. So let me know about that, guys. Let's talk a little bit about the 2017 and 2018 seasons. I know you've had some injuries along the way. How would you assess those 2 years for yourself?
Well, it's kind of funny, you know. I was in college for 5 years, you know, getting a couple degrees, and I didn't, you know, I wasn't big into the scene. You know, I lost my sponsorship with Innova, and I came back in the 2016 season. Latitude gave me a chance, and I played great. I played phenomenal, probably one of my best years to date. And then my body just started to fall apart, and 2017, 2018 was rough. You know, I had knee injuries. I had severe tendonitis in my arm. Last year I had a C word scare, you know, a cancer scare, and I had numerous medical problems last year, and it was just like one thing after the next. You know, I don't know, it's probably not easy to see, but I in Vegas last year, my finger dried out so bad that it split like all the way around my finger and on the inside under the nail. Like it was like
Yeesh.
it was like a glass break, but it was like it was crazy, and it didn't heal all year, you know. And just to be able to play last year, I would have to go to the dermatologist and get like 5 or 6 injections directly into my finger, just so it would heal enough to where I could like play for a weekend. And you know, I'd have to like super glue it, and like my forearm would get so bad that you know I couldn't even open my hand. I was just, you know, I couldn't get past, I couldn't get healthy.
Yeah.
And it you know, it definitely affected my play. And that, you know, I'm super competitive, so even though I may not be physically at 100%, mentally I compete like it. And you know, that's tough because you're not going to get the same results. And you know, and it was just all around difficult. So I've been working on trying to get better into shape, and medical problems seem to be deteriorating. So I'm really hoping for a strong 2019 season because
Any key things that, I mean, I'm sure we have viewers that have gone through an injury or maybe recovering from a surgery or an illness or something. Any key things you want to tell them, you know, like that you've learned from it, you know, being down like that to mentally keep yourself going?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, when you've had a lot of injuries, you really have to, I mean, this may be obvious, but you really have to spend the time to stretch before every time you play. You know, because when you're hurt, and I stress stretching. I had to slow down for that. I stress stretching because it prevents injuries, and it really helps you from further injuring anything. And you know, take it slow back. You know, a lot of people off of an injury, they want to go full speed, play a tournament right ahead, and play 3 rounds in a day, and that's how you get re-injured again. You know, slow and steady wins the race. And try do a lot of research on you know, rehab your injuries. You know, you don't have to go to physical therapy, but you know, you can go online and find exercise. You know, you can find specific exercises for most any injury, I would imagine, and really do that and just try and build the muscles around it.
Yep.
Okay.
Disc golf strong. So jumping into 2019, obviously you've been testing out a lot of new plastic. What are some staples in your bag going into the 2019 season?
All right, yeah. So I've started testing. We're in Michigan, and I started testing in late November. So, you know, testing has been intermittent. You know, only so much you can do in the in the cold season. But discs I really love so far are the new disc, the Raptor, is, you know, it's the best forehand disc on the market in my opinion. You know, if even if I wasn't sponsored by Discraft, I would have Raptors in my bag. They're amazing. They have an extremely, like, they're great for the woods because they have extremely tight flights. You know, they don't have to go too far left and too far right to get down the fairway. So they're really great, especially in a state like Michigan where most of our courses are tight.
Yeah.
I really love. What'd you say?
Oh, Pat showing off one of the test flights.
Oh yeah, I got mine right here. Got my baby. My baby.
If you haven't seen how a Raptor flies yet, card above, click on that. It's the video where I threw this disc out at Westlake Park. Just a couple shots. Not that great, but you can kind of see how it flies.
I'm really loving the Vulture a lot. You know, that's a disc that I haven't had in my bag, honestly, and I've always gone from something, you know, like Tracker, Undertaker-ish, all the way to a Force, and haven't really had something in between. And I'm really digging that thing. A fun disc I'm really digging is the Big Z Roach, right? Which it, to me, it's the like most neutral flying driving putter I've ever used. You know, you just throw it and it floats and it goes straight. You know, even if you release it on a slight ante, it doesn't dump. It kind of corrects itself. And if you throw it on a hyzer, it'll flip up. And it's a really great disc. And I really enjoy putting with the APX again, which is what I putted with
APX
75 years ago.
That's an interesting one.
7 years ago. Yeah, these are my babies right here.
Definitely not a common
No,
putter used by any other pros that I know of.
Fun
Discraft pros
fact:
anyway?
do you guys even know what APX stands for?
Nope.
Nope, you got me.
Awesome putting experience.
Yes, Ziggy, it stands for awesome putting experience. I'm gonna edit that
That's
back
true.
over
My
before
first
you.
guess.
I'm gonna edit that
That-
back in so that
yeah.
I say it before you, so I know the answer.
That's no, but that's yeah. Most people don't even know what it stands for. It's such an old disc that, like you said, no one uses.
Yeah.
I really like the Nate Doss buzzes because they're a little beefier than the just normal stamp buzz, and you can torque on them a little hard because I tend to release a little more flat than most players, so I tend to throw more stable discs. It's not necessarily because I'm like a beefcake, but it's just my angle of release is different than most people. I'm a terrible hyzer thrower. Like that's like everyone's like go-to shot, but like I'm like the worst at hyzers ever.
Off-season work to be done.
Yeah, no, I'm always working on my hyzers. And then the last one I'll mention is the zone. When I was with, I'd never thrown the zone before I went, because like Innova never really had anything zone like. I guess now they have the AVR X3 and Cayman, maybe a couple other things.
Yeah.
But when I was with them, they had nothing similar to the zone. And then when I was with Latitude, I didn't throw the harp for like the first 2 years I was on Latitude, and then I finally started throwing the harp, and I really liked it. But the zone is just better. It's I'm so comfortable with it. I feel like I can just point and shoot. It's got a very comfortable stability, not a whole lot of glide, so it's pretty predictable. Where it's gonna go, and just in the woods, if I'm throwing a forehand with a zone, I'm pretty confident.
As we're kind of looking at your 2019 season, what is the tour plan? Are you going to kind of be touring part-time or touring full-time?
Yeah, part-time, because I'm also this year I'm also trying to prepare to take the MCATs. I want to try and get into med school next year, hopefully. I've been trying to do that for a couple years, but last year, wasn't healthy and whatnot. But right now I'm signed up for Gentlemen's Club and Memorial. I'm very deep on the wait list, but I have hope. So if you want to drop out for me, feel free. No shame. And then if I don't get into those two, I was thinking about maybe doing the Florida swing in March, and or the Texas, couple of tournaments in Texas followed by Jonesboro. So, and then I'll obviously play Great Lakes, CCR, Michigan has a couple other A tiers, Ledgestone for Worlds and Ledgestone, Ledgestone, and then Worlds. Hopefully USDGC. And then anything real feasible in the area. I would love to get out and do the California swing. That's probably my favorite. But definitely the priciest swing, that's for sure.
I was going to say earlier, that's one of my favorite parts of Michigan Disc Golf is we just have so many tournaments throughout the year, from January through October, even November. We have so many tournaments, so it's great for pros that are looking for a lot of tournaments to play within the state, and great for building the AM scene as well. About that time, Pat, what do you think?
I think it's that time, and I don't know if you're ready, Ziggy, but these are going to be some slightly wacky yet fantastic rapid-fire questions from Wes.
I'm down.
We're gonna jump right into them. I feel really good about these. Some really good ones this time. So pretty quick answer. Think about it for a second if you need to. First one: if you were to own a boat, what would its name be?
The Regina.
Better one disc round choice: Zone or Buzz?
Zone.
What plastic?
Pro D.
Pro D. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Ooh. Homemade dinner or closest restaurant?
Homemade dinner, and every day.
OG Nacho Doritos or Cool Ranch?
Cool Ranch.
Tough one. If Bierekoven was an animal, what would it be?
What would I be? What would I be? Probably, we'll say a fox.
Fox. Sly. Tournaments on the line. Which would you rather be facing, an island green or a circle 2 putt?
Circle 2 putt.
Favorite Michigan course?
Favorite Michigan course? I would probably have to say Albion. Victory Park in Albion, Michigan.
Heard good things about that one. I got to get there myself. So we've seen both of these guys with some basketball highlight videos over the years. Who wins a game of 21 between Yuli and Macbeth?
I would have to go with the taller of the two, with Uli.
Just based on height?
And I had to base it on who posts more basketball videos, and that's Uli.
Fair. And then on a scale of 1 to over 9,000, how pumped are you for the Nate and Valerie Doss interview coming up on Thursday?
Over 9,000. Wink.
Yeah, nice. That's all of them.
Right,
awesome. Good. I like that last one, Wes. That was a good one.
I feel like there was a gun to the head scenario there, but you know.
Never.
Shoutouts. Anybody you'd like to shout out to here?
Well, I'd like to shout out Uncle Bill Thornton. You know, he's been there since day one. He's the best sponsor. Best non-disc manufacturer sponsor I could ever ask for. Luna Disc for always being there for me, and Shay Agby with Great Lakes Discs for believing in me as well.
Shay's a great guy.
Yeah, Shay's awesome. Shay puts his money where his mouth is. Last year he added $5,500 to an A tier when the minimum is $2,000. So I don't know. Shay's a good guy and he does good stuff, and we should all support him.
Yep. I dig it.
All right. Well, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that by turning that notification bell on so that every time we post a new video like this awesome one that we just did, you know right away so you're not pronouncing his name wrong later. You can watch it now so that tomorrow when you see him, you don't say it wrong. So watch the video now.
Yeah. Don't hurt my feelings, please. Don't hurt me.
Those likes, guys, let's hit that 100 likes and we can give away that heat. Love to do that for you. And if you haven't had a chance to check out our surprise bag checks yet, they're pretty cool. I'm going to throw Haley King's surprise bag check up here. So if you're looking for another video to watch next, check that out. It's pretty cool. She's got some interesting stuff in the bag. So as always...
Hopefully no steroids or anything like that.
No, not from Haley.
You're doing surprise bag checks. I don't know what you're going to find.
We'll see.
All right.
Who's juicing? That's what we're going to find out.
The most important thing, guys, Wes, tell us what that most important thing is.
Most important thing is always make that putt.
Make that putt.
Make it.